Hello and welcome to another episode of Goa 365 Story Behind the Story. For the past few days, we've been seeing a lot of deaths. Now, there was a time when certain police in the police force were very famous for UBs, which boomeranged on them. Many people. There are today now they are in senior positions. But this time, most of these people whose bodies have been found in fact, like in a mafia type of a killing, one was wherein his hands and legs were tied and found in this. Now, they say crime and politics goes hand in hand. In fact, I wanted to write a paper on this. My university did not agree because they're two separate subjects. But what is the politics being allowed for criminals to look at Goa as a soft target? One thing I can say, very not professional or non-expert opinion, is that the conviction rate is very bad in Goa. It's less than the national average, including of probably, I don't know, UP and all. So anyway, to get expert opinions on this, we have gathered a panel which is also very, what do you say, it has been in the field for a very long time. They are experts in their own field, and we have also got the political flavor here to give that crime and politics connection. So I would like to introduce, starting with Ashley Bob Rosario, senior journalist, one of the first probably criminal reporters, hardcore criminal reporter. He has reported crimes even when there were no mobiles and internet. Ashley Bob, welcome to our show. Second, who better to talk about crime than Bosco Bob George, ex-DIG of police, IPS, with I don't know how many years of experience. I've been there for one of them when he lathi charged some 200 people on his own with his security guard at the side in Mapsa. I was there at the side. In fact, once told me I'll hit my helmet also on that day. Bosco Bob, welcome to our show. Siddharth Bab Samant, analyst, political analyst, no doubt in his spare time, but a senior journalist who has been prosecuting criminals mostly and not defending them so often. Samant Bab, welcome to our show. And for the connection between crime and politics, to give us her own this firebrand politician, Pratima Bab Kutino. I mean, now we have to discuss. We'll discuss this whether she's still in AAP or she's no longer in AAP. Pratima ma'am, welcome to our show. Yeah. Starting with Ashley Bob, give us an overview of crime as you've seen it over 30 years of your, I don't know, more probably 30 plus years experience in Goa and around. Ashley Bob.
Yeah, so crime is a factor of society.
Yes.
Let us be very clear about this. It is a result of what happens in society. So, and there is no society without crime. Nowhere in the world. Now, what is the acceptable level of crime and what is the unacceptable level of crime, that each society decides. Now, I believe that this explosion of media that is happening is what is making us feel that crime has increased. If you go statistically, I don't see any crime increase. Marginal. But this whole social media explosion, this media explosion where instantly what happens is graphically displayed, is what riles up the consciousness of the public and makes it feel like, we are going through bad days, there's so much of crime, and that is one point. The second point I want to make is what you mentioned, that crime and politics goes hand in hand. I don't quite fully agree with that argument.
But do you disagree with it?
I don't disagree either. There are politicians who are criminals. So, in that sense, you are right. But every crime happens because of politics is wrong. So, that is the point. Third, the recent crimes that have happened, there are a lot of them that are jilted lovers, passion crimes. So, our friend Gerard has just come out with a book where he has analyzed crimes of passion, where he has analyzed court papers and court proceedings of some 10 to 15 crimes. So, how can you blame the government for that? How can you blame the law and order machinery for passion crimes? You can't. There the society comes into picture, right? So we need, when we talk of crime, we need to separate these things. There are crimes where the system has failed, and there are crimes where society has failed. So we need to be very objective when we are analyzing crime. We need to be very objective in what we say and what we, conclude. So that now, as far as those accidents that have happened, the deaths that have happened due to accidents, there I would fault the system. There the government is, shares maximum of the blame because of several reasons. Poor enforcement, that is from the police and from the RTO side, and from the government side, it is very bad road conditions. If I am not mistaken, I think it was in the 90s where we had a national agency.
Pasricha.
No, Pasricha was much later. Pasricha was on the policing part, but there was this road engineering national central government agency that did a thorough survey of the entire state and identified some 170 black spots. This was in the 90s. Not one of them has been corrected.
Till date.
Not one of them has been corrected till date. So, in that sense, the government is to be blamed, or has the lion's share of the blame as far as the high accident rates and the high high deaths due to accidents. And third but not the least is the declining professionalism in the police force. I believe that there is a vast difference in the competency and the professional capability of police officers 20-30 years ago and the police officers today. I can say that with authority. I would love Bosco to
elaborate on that.
Not just elaborate, Bosco to contradict me. I would love to see him contradict me, but
I don't think he will do that either. I totally agree with you.
One last point.
On
that professional capability of the police force, or the professionalism of the police force, the non-separation of responsibilities within police stations between law and order duties and criminal investigation duties is one big blunder that the police in Goa have been continuing to commit. Although this has been pointed out a million times by professionals. There is a report of, I think, even Julio Ribeiro that is gathering dust.
Yes.
I think he gave his report somewhere in the late 90s. So, unless these are professional matters. If you don't follow professional principles in policing, it's bound to reflect on your performance. There's no doubt about it. So, that is one. Second is when recruitment happens. I think there needs to be some specialization subject that needs to be made compulsory, especially for PSI recruitment. Constable recruitment, that you can do in-house training, but PSI, once he does 6 months training, he becomes a confirmed PSI, he becomes an IO in a murder case with absolutely no competence. So, a BCom graduate comes and becomes a PSI. At least if it's a BSc graduate, I can understand, because he has some science background, he has some science knowledge. There's a lot of science in crime that goes in detecting crime. So, I think serious steps need to be taken to to confront this lack of professionalism in our Goa police force, and it has to be done urgently.
I agree with you totally, Ashley. Again, I say, except one thing, I feel that the government and the police are both people. Police detection rate is very good, very good. It has improved over there. Conviction rate. So that is both fault of both the police investigation, which you pointed out very rightly. Second is the government prosecutors.
Conviction rate, there is another
Maybe
factor.
these two people are
There is another factor that comes into play where there is lack of coordination between the prosecution
But
department.
that's the government. It's up to the government.
And
but it's up to the government to
so
correct it, because till that is not there.
That's a
anybody
systemic
goes
problem.
In,
That's a
anybody
systemic
goes
problem.
Anybody goes in, says like, forget yaar. By the time my case is there, I'll be dead. So go ahead, do it again. Then it becomes easier and easier. I feel conviction rate. As long as conviction rate is there, there is no fear of criminals. And today it is the person who is innocent who cannot carry a gun, but any criminal will carry a gun. So what are the innocent going to do? The cops are going to catch the innocent. They are not going to go after the criminal. I don't know. Baskubab, tell us, is that a fact? You know how difficult it is to defend yourself today. You go on the road today, you can get things.
For the police, it's a huge challenge. There are too many authorities we are answerable today. Too many. And everybody passes and expects only the police to respond to the situation. About traffic. Who's the authority which issues licenses?
RTO.
No. Whichever department. Do we have a say in that? No. There, as far as I know, the police have asked so many number of people suspend their licenses. What has happened? I don't know.
Nothing.
So if we are just going to be, we are the face of the establishment, and we are the last person standing, and we have to continue standing. So that is it. As far as this thing is saying about sub-inspectors training is concerned, I'll beg to disagree that the science graduates are more competent than those who are a BCom graduate or any other, from whichever field it may be. Please let him have a proper graduation. Okay, and the training, what he does in the academy, is just one part of it. They trains you in your discipline, as an officer, how you respond, what you this thing. It has very less to do about the actual working in the police department.
Okay.
That happens in your probation time of 1 year after you pass out from the police academy. And over there, it is only your competence, your interest, what you want to imbibe. Like, I'm not trying to boast, but when I was this thing, I would sit down with the constable. Now, many of those constables were, Marathi, this thing, but they can draft an FIR much better than a sub-inspector who passes out and comes with a damn graduation degree. I have seen it. They would only ask, sir, they would come to me and say, sir, his sentence is not proper, how do we this? Just these marginal things. So it is each one's competence, what an interest that he needs to have. Unfortunately, agree with you, the interest, the priority of the people joining the department has changed totally.
Over the years. Yes.
We have become more materialistic. The first thing we require, our boys, they require is a motorcycle. All these things but that is society. We have become materialistic. Now we only need is really enforcement. And unfortunately, that's what I say is a huge challenge for the officers in the senior positions to really combat this thing that is happening over there.
Motivation is an issue, right?
Absolutely.
That probably is what
That was this thing. If today you can see for yourself that if you don't, you hold me responsible. If I have a say in the posting of those guys, hold me responsible. I will take it. And as a district SP, I have taken that responsibility. And when I told, yes, on one particular, there were 5 murders. My DG asked me, "Tune kya Bihar bana diya idhar kya?" I said, "Sir, please give me a little time. I will come back to you and I will show." And right enough, we were able to detect it. See, as far as the conviction and all, it's an all India problem that we have this thing. Because today, see, even the press, everything focus have they been arrested? Have they caught? Once
Nobody
that is
talks about
that,
gun.
then afterwards, then it goes into cool storage. Nobody is bothered. Kya chal raha, kidhar, where the charge sheet has this thing, and it has just become routine. Again, starting with the recruitment again, Goa government is recruiting 25
Device.
direct device fees.
How will they learn?
No,
the job?
forget what is the motivation for them to rise up. What is the cadre, IPS cadre strength of Goa? 4. Where are these 25? Are you going to fill in?
Talking about that, Bosco, let me interrupt. You know how many calls I've got on this from the lower level people? They say, why we should work?
Correct.
Let them come, let the device come and do the work. They come directly. Why the government and why nobody is saying? Why the media is also not talking about this? Why only the government? Why government is not bothered about us? Directly people are calling. I'm sorry, I cannot obviously blame for it.
No, I'm just
But
saying-
people are very upset at the lower level. Very upset.
Glenn,
Sorry.
I'll just give a small example. When we were recruited in 1999,
97.
87 as sub-inspectors, but then afterwards in
After the
97
GPSC, through the
as a
GPSC.
direct through GPSC. And Mr. Parrikar at the time as leader of the opposition raised this thing in the assembly. I being from Panjim and he being the MLA from Panjim, I took an appointment. I said, why are you objecting? He says, he made a sort of this thing. He says, Bosco, I have no problem with you. But the rest of the appointment, I take it with a pinch of salt. It is typical of. But I said, I have passed through a legit exam.
Exam. Yes.
Now you should have objected from this thing. And with all his this thing, I mean, he was prepared. When he told me, please come at so and so time. Because when I went to him, he said, not now. You come after at about 2 o'clock. Before that, he went and met the IGP at that time. And he tell me something about. So IGP, when we were only 6, he said, what are these 6 going to do for Goa? They'll get frustrated because they are going to remain in the same position. And right now, when do I get my APS? At the fag end when I am about to retire and then sent to Arunachal Pradesh. I mean, what is
also same thing, no?
Yeah,
Arvind
that
also-
only. So I'm saying, what is the use of making these things? You're not going. You're just going to remain there only. And my get frustration. Then after, and fortunately, 5 of us we took a resolution that we would never approach politicians for postings. And fortunately, we never had the opportunity because at that time the device fees were the position where they had no alternative but to post Bosco there or Arvind or this and that. And everything.
And now there are a lot of options.
And now you're going to have 25 for the next 30 years.
These guys
Only
are going
5 will get, 3 or 4 will get into the IPS. The rest will die in frustration, cursing those chaps.
Sadharbha, before this is a very police problem, we'll have to take a separate issue on this. Conviction rates, specifically.
As far as conviction rate, see, conviction rate can increase only.
Has to. Others no fear of the law.
No, has to increase is one thing. It can increase only by way of a scientific investigation, professional methods, and right kind of coordination between the prosecutors as well as the investigative agencies.
Who is responsible for that?
At the end of the day, Home Department, there is no doubt about it. See, they can't, see, as far as machinery is concerned, the blame can never be, that's why you are like that, lethargic. That can't be an excuse. You have been appointed, you have been paid salary, whoever it might be, from the system, investigation or for prosecution. You have been paid for that job. You have no excuse to say that no, people are fine with
but
it.
But if nobody is pulling them up, why should they bother?
No.
Like most government thing, you go to half the government, where are people? See our roads, see our water, see electricity.
See,
nobody is bothered, no supervision, no accountability.
That's the philosophical.
I don't know.
That's the philosophical argument to say that democracy is as good as what people want, or how people are. See, you go to West, they have a vibrant democracy. If something happens, people will come protest, and things are getting sorted out. But that doesn't mean a recent democracy like us, recent electorate democracy like us, is required not to respond to situations, or not to get things moving so long as there are no agitation. Now, that can't be the
Ridiculous.
ground. That can't be the ground. See, conviction rate can only increase by way of a professionalism in anything that you bring, whether it in investigation is concerned, with scientific, with proper training, proper equipments. And in fact, what I hear from my friends and colleagues is they have been provided. It is not right from vehicles to good scientific lab. These things are there.
Forensic
Only thing,
everything.
yes, most of the things are available. See, now technology, it is very difficult for accused to get away with few things. If you really, basic fundamentals of investigations are carried out, it is very difficult for accused to get away. He can't today deny that no, I was not there only. Now that things does not work. See, there are scientific evidences for you to make out. There are CCTV cameras everywhere. The mobile files can track you. So many other things. These are just one or two examples that I am getting. Only thing, I think some sort of a professionalism is required in investigation. That is the person who conducts the investigation, or the department, whatever you call, and then proper in manner in which your case is presented. I think if these two things are done, investigation crime rate will increase. Now,
Crime rate
Conviction
will come down.
rate
Conviction rate will increase and crime rate will come down. See, normally, a topic I love. See, a criminal does not read your law book and then goes and commit crime. 5 varsas, I will not do this. This is only 3 years. It doesn't happen. For that, the first point which he made was validity. The society, the falling standards of the society, value system, morality plays a bigger role. Your plight to make quick buck in a short time, and for the purpose, giving go by to your morals, breaking some laws, thinking that no, I will not get caught. These small things lead to crimes, especially the white collar crimes like cheating, fraud, fabrication, to some extent robbing, to some extent. These falling standards of the society, falling standards of morals are also responsible for these kind of crime. Now we were talking about where actually the fault lies. See, I have always been of the opinion that if you are waiting for society to change and thereafter they will create pressure on the system and the system will change, that is going to take long time. According to me, there is no. You have a system in place. System has to work. And who is fine repository of the trust of the people? It is the parliament or whatever. The authorities, the government, incumbent government, home department, and whoever runs, who is the in charge of the home department, whichever government it might be, and whichever state it might be, or a center it might be, they are responsible. They cannot, for deteriorating law and order system, you just can't put the blame on people, saying that people are not, the society morals have gone down, therefore crime.
Outside
This way, if you want things to improve, then this can't be solution. This can't be an argument you should be hearing. If you want to see the change, then it has to be the authority. Whether it is prosecuting authority or law enforcing authority, it has to be this department which has to be. आणि एक पॉइंट आम्ही ओदळ काडटालो. Now the Banastari accident, with that, see, as far as accidents are concerned, you strictly don't count those offenses as crimes. See, these are accidents ultimately. See, drunken driving is a different this. But those points which were identified, black spots, which are these are different kind of, just because there is an accident, some person died, these are not crimes.
Yeah,
so that part of the,
we'll discuss this a little later.
Yeah, crime should be discussed.
I want to go into it a little more in detail. Pradha ma'am, what is your say on this?
See, today's biggest question is.
I made an allegation. Crime and politicians.
Today's biggest question म्हणटा तें आयज व्हडलो प्रश्न म्हणटा तो तुमकां सगळ्यांक खबर आसा गोंया was known as a tourism destination. It was known as a tourism destination, and people used to come for vacations, family, not only local tourists, even international tourists, and we used to get a lot of economy. But if you want to see like of late, पोवपाक गेल्यार इतले आयज गोवा, it is, you have to take it. It's bitter, but it's the fact that criminal hub म्हणून recognize जावपाक लागला. आतां तूं खंय वच आतां कोणी ट्युरिस्ट गोंयांत येवपाक सोदता जाल्यार एनीबडी वॉन्ट्स टू कम डावन फॉर हॉलिडेज एंड दे प्रेस गुगलाचेर आयज एवरीथींग इज देर टुडेज इट्स सोशल मिडिया गुगल यू टायप वॉट यू सी देर increasing crimes in Goa like molestation, rapes, murders, prostitution, drugs, drunken driving. What? आणि आयज पळोवपाक गेल्यार खंय तरी होम डिपार्टमेंट हांव म्हणटा हॅज फेल्ड बीग टायम एंड आय एम सेयिंग इट आय एम मेकिंग दॅट एलिगेशन हियर that home department is failed big time and the home minister has failed big time because home minister today if you go to see he is spending more on tourism to promote tourism. There was a time even तांचोच सरकाराचो तांचोच CM गे एक्स कोण पर्रीकर आसतना I don't think that Parrikar had to shell out or pump in money to promote tourism, but today he is doing it. Pramod Sawant, the home minister, is doing it because to hide that image. या आयज इतले काबार जाल्ले आसा आनी इफ यू गो टू सी ऑफ लेट सगळ्या कडेन वता थंय आमचे दोन दिसान एवरी सेकंड डे देर इज अ रेप मॉलेस्टेशन or some crime scene taking place in Goa. So not only that much बसीन देखून वयता जाल्यार तूं बारीक पळय तूं एवरी बस स्टॉपाचेर तुका मटका आनी गॅमलिंग आनी कार्डान हेडटा दिसती पडटा. दीस 10 आनी 20 रुपयाच्या हफ्त्याक लागून तुमी हें इग्नोर करता जाल्यार तूं चिंत ड्रग्स प्रॉस्टिट्यूशन आनी रेप्स हेंचेर तांकां कितले पयशे मेळटा आसतले ते. सो इट इज लायक सी यू मस्ट बी हॅविंग अ डॉटर अ ग्रोन अप डॉटर. आय हॅव गॉट अ डॉटर दे मस्ट बी हॅविंग डॉटर्स. आर डॉटर्स सेफ टुडे are our daughters safe? No. If you go to see it is like the person who commits crime knows that if I have power, if I have got political influence, or if I have got the money, I can get away. If it
Can we come back? I'm
Okay,
just going in
yes.
for a small break. I'll start with you, Pratima. That
Yeah.
I promise. Yeah, we have like run out of time in this thing, and discussion is not really heated up. I hope it will heat up in the second part. But interesting. This is basically set a base for what's happening in the state as far as crimes and convictions and all are concerned. Keep watching Goa 365.